The Foundation for Safer Athletic Fields for Everyone, in partnership with the Sports Turf Managers Association, is proud to present Sports and Recreation Fields, Safety First, a video outreach program intended to educate the playing field users on some of the basics of what makes an athletic field safe and playable. It is our sincere hope that after watching, you will be armed with what you need to do a basic field evaluation before you or your team steps on the field.
Hi, I'm Ross Kirkcab, Certified Sports Field Manager and owner of Championship Sports Turf Systems. For 30 years I was a head turf manager in professional football, and now I've dedicated my career to improving our nation's sports surfaces and facilities. At the end of the video, there'll be links to a printable field safety checklist that you can download from the Safe Foundation's website.
The first thing you want to do when arriving at a baseball or softball field for practice or a game is to walk around and visually scan the entire playing surface and surrounding areas. Remember, player momentum often carries players into adjacent areas of the playing field at high speed. Has any maintenance equipment, like rakes or shovels, been accidentally left out on the field? Walk around the entire field slowly and get a feel for the playing surface and surroundings. Baseball and softball fields often have some combination of grass and skin surfaces, although some fields can either be entirely grass or artificial turf, or entirely dirt-skinned areas like on a sandlot. The basic safety evaluations for a grass or turf areas of a baseball-softball field are the same as discussed in the natural grass and artificial turf videos in this series. Please refer to these two videos in evaluating the grass or artificial turf parts of a baseball or softball field. This video will focus on the skinned areas and other aspects of a baseball or softball field unique to the sports. Walk over the entire skinned area of the field and get a feel for the surface. Ideally, the soil is slightly loose in the top quarter inch and firmer below. The skinned areas should be level, smooth, and free from low spots and depressions. Overly compacted areas and depressions are not only a player safety concern, but can collect rain and irrigation water and increase the chances of rainout. This includes the coaches' boxes, on-deck circles, and batter approaches. The ideal skinned area dirt is slightly moist, but not sticky to the shoes. The skinned areas should be free from any standing water or significantly wet areas that don't support player traction. The surface should be uniformly smooth and free of rocks, pebbles, gravel, sticks, and other debris that may cause bad hops. Soil moisture is critical to the performance of a skinned area infield. Too wet and the field is soft and the footing is poor. Too dry and the field can become hard, which can also affect footing. A well-maintained baseball or softball field will have a source of water and hoses needed to get the infield skinned areas to just the right moisture levels. Like with the grass or turf areas, there should be no irrigation valve boxes, heads, or other components in the skinned area surface. Water hookup valves are often placed behind the pitcher's mound. Regardless of where these hookup valves are located, they must be constructed and maintained in a way that does not pose safety hazards to the player. Look closely at the sliding areas in front of each base and takeoff areas after each base to ensure that these areas are not unduly worn. The soil should not be too hard for safe sliding, nor too loose for player traction. These areas should be level and smooth without holes or depressions. The soil should not be too abrasive, especially in the sliding areas. The home plate and batter's box areas should be level and smooth. There should be no depressions or low spots from wear, and the dirt should not be too hard. The batter's box and catcher's box should be lined in accordance with league requirements. Check to see that home plate is correctly positioned, level to the ground, and in good condition with no rips, tears, or flaps, and that it's anchored in the ground according to the manufacturer's instruction. Transition areas are where two different surfaces meet. On a softball and baseball field, this typically involves the grass or artificial turf surface meeting with the skinned dirt surface. Stand on the transition and determine if there is a difference in elevation or lip between the two surface types. A well-maintained transition will have no lip. Inspect the pitching mound or circle carefully. It should conform to league requirements. The platform area behind the rubber should be large enough. The rubber should be secured strongly in the ground and level with the surrounding surface. The push-off and landing areas receive the greatest wear and should be constructed of specialized clay for stability and to resist players digging unsafe holes. There should be no lip in the transition between the mound and any grass or turf. An important safety aspect to any baseball or softball field is well-designed, constructed, and maintained warning tracks. Typically, the dimensions of the warning track areas are not well defined by league rules. ASTM guidelines from F2270 on warning tracks addresses two areas of warning tracks on a ball field and their respective dimensions. For the warning tracks behind home plate, in front of backstops and any extensions, the guideline is 1/3 the distance from home plate to the backstop. For example, if a backstop is located 30 feet behind home plate, then the warning track is typically 10 feet wide. Further, the ASTM guideline goes on to state, quote, "Other criteria for warning track dimensions include the rule of thumb for distance equivalent to 3 full strides of a running player." The concept here is that the player has a distance equivalent to 3 full strides in order to adjust his or her position and speed to be protected from the impending obstruction. A distance of 3 full strides of a running player can vary from about 8 feet for youth players to up to 18 feet for collegiate or professional level athletes. It should be noted that warning track dimensions that are too great may lose their effectiveness in that a dimension is too vast, meaning too much playing area contained within the warning track area will fail to provide effective warning of the impending obstruction. All bases, ground stakes, and footings should be installed and maintained according to the manufacturer's specifications. Check to see that the base coverings do not have unsafe rips or tears and that the base hardware or framework is not loose or damaged. The base ground stake should be safely below grade and securely anchored in its concrete footing. The base footing should be secure and unable to twist out of place from the ground during play. All the bases should be seated securely and properly with the ground elevation. Check any fence or wall padding or coverings that may be used at the ballpark. All padding should be in good condition and made for its intended use. Any fence posts used should be on the outside of the playing surface. Any concrete or other anchoring for fences and posts should not be above ground. All fencing should be in good shape, securely attached to the posts and without gaps or damaged areas. The wire ends of the fence should not protrude above the top of the fence. Any fencing immediately adjacent to a baseball or softball field should have a well-padded or otherwise appropriately mitigated top rail to protect the players from sharp edges and wires when leaning or jumping over for balls. Any lighting used at the park should be for the intended purpose and installed and inspected by a trained engineer or technician. The lights should be in good working condition with the beams evenly flooding all parts of the playing field and with brightness that meets industry standards. The guest areas of a baseball-softball complex must be designed and maintained in a safe way. In our earlier video in the series on facilities and equipment, we addressed some of the safety issues involved for you to evaluate. Taking a picture or quick video with your phone and emailing it to the field maintenance manager will get the quickest responses.
Remember, a safe and playable field is best for everyone involved in the game. By taking a few minutes when you arrive for a game or practice to do a basic field inspection, you have gone a long way to making the day more enjoyable for everyone.